Hello everybody and welcome back to Punapuu Ridge. I do apologize in advance since I am a little ill, so my voice may not be all that, well, good as normally. I do have a bit of a nasal voice, I guess. But that doesn't stop me from making a video on, well, Punapuu Ridge. And this episode we will be continuing our bear trail and we will be making an enclosure for the sun bear. Which is, it's quite a small enclosure since the sun bear is interestingly the smallest bear species of all bear species actually. And actually I've never built an enclosure for the sun bears before, even though I do have the DLC pack. I have all of the DLC packs, so I've actually interestingly never built an enclosure for the sun bear, so it was quite a fun thing to do. Doing a bit of research on sun bear habitats and stuff like that. What I tried for this one, since sun bears are from Southeast Asia, I built this kind of rock face with these bricks kind of worked into them, kind of have this rock face look as more artificial and layered as possible, and not specifically to give it the Southeast Asian temple look, but kind of inspired from those kind of stuff, like they're like, you know, old civilization kind of ruin sort of feeling, but it is mostly just a generic rock face, and also the habitat itself is just a, you know, fitting in with this Eurasian theme, having just, you know, native plants and stuff. We're not having a lot of exotic tropical plants for this enclosure, despite the sun bear actually living in quite tropical environments. I do mainly just use the temperate European and Asian plants that I've been using throughout the zoo. The actual sun bear is as I said, it's the smallest bear species of, well, all bears alive today, and it's also the most arboreal bear species, so I will also be adding some climbing structures throughout the habitat, similar to the sloth bear. But yeah, these really love to climb, they like to hang out in trees, they even have this specific feature that you can use in the game, which is this hammock that they can lie into and lounge, which they also do in real life. They love to just lounge in trees and elevated areas like that. For the sun bear, I used a lot of the what's it called? The rustic bricks, which I've also used throughout the zoo, but this time just a monotone color. Actually, no, I don't think I've used rustic. I can't remember. I think it's the rustic from the Twilight pack. Yeah, no, rustic is from the European pack. What I'm using is the mason wall pieces, or what I think it's called mason wall pieces from the Twilight pack, which is actually a new piece that I don't think I've yet to use in this zoo. And then this is the shelter building, which actually it will be in two parts, since the shelter will be shared amongst two bear species, the other bear being the Himalayan brown bear, but this one half will have a more Southeast Asian look to it, generic Southeast Asian, whilst the other half will be a Himalayan kind of Tibetan temple aesthetic. But I try to make it also look as zoo-like as possible. What I mean by that is it's not an actual Himalayan building or an actual Southeast Asian building, it's just decorated. It's like an actual facility building decorated to look like it's from those areas. So it's intentional. It intentionally looks fake, by basically. It just intentionally looks like it's just themed that way, which is my attempt in making it look as zoo-like as possible, since I have definitely been trying to practice those kind of things. But as I said, the roof is just flat. It's just a flat roof, since that's what the zoo would have. It's a utilitarian building. No need in making all fancy and stuff. There's no like second floor necessary. There's no attic that is necessary for this building. It's just a shelter building, really. The other part of the shelter, which is the Himalayan bit, which I will decorate now for a bit. I'll give it a simple roof, I think, in this episode, but it's the actual designing and decorating that you will see in the next episode when we will do the Himalayan brown bears. Actually, this whole area does not conclude the Asian bit, since after this we will also continue our Asian bit, but we will move over to different parts of Asia, more specifically Mongolia and the Gobi Desert, when we do the Saigas, and then we'll also add some of the species there to add to the Mongolian bit. But yeah, this bear trail won't be the end of Asian themed bits in this zoo. Oh yeah, this actual other like shelter that I'm building right now has like multi-layer kind of roofing, which is quite iconic for Tibetan architecture. But as I said, you will see a more detailed build of this building in particular in the next episode. Actually, the sun bear has some quite interesting facts that I want to share, since the sun bear has gotten a bit of traction recently with this meme, I think, that kind of started to spread on the internet, where this bear looked like a human. Or well, people thought that the bear in this one zoo in China, I think it was, people thought it was a human in a bear suit. They were trying to sue or like blame the zoo for faking animals, which, just to clarify, is not true. It was in fact a real bear, but it's more a case of the general public not being educated enough about this bear species in particular, since because it's such a small bear and it has short hairs as well, since mostly bears have quite a thick pelt, which that's what you do mostly kind of associate with bear species, a thick pelt with a thick fur. But the sun bear, interestingly, has a very thin pelt with just little hair compared to other bears, which the simple explanation is that it lives in very tropical, warm areas, so it doesn't really need this thick pelt. But since it's also a small bear, it is actually also risked on predation. There are actually animal species that could predate on a bear like this. I couldn't tell you which species, probably some tigers, since they do live in that kind of area, or another big cat. But just to get back to the explanation, is that because they are of risk of predation, these bear species have a very loose skin, which actually can be used as a defense mechanism when actually being attacked by predator. So when this trending video got traction online, what basically happened was that since the bear was standing up straight, it had these kind of layers of skin on its back and buttocks, which people assumed was just the wrinkles of this costume folding, but really it was in fact its skin, which just has a lot of folds in it, because that's just how the skin looks like. But yeah, it's definitely a very odd looking bear. It has a thin skin, or not thin skin, but has a thin pelt with a layered kind of skin. And then also another interesting thing is that they have a really long tongue, and the reason for that is because they do eat honey, amongst other things. They eat insects and stuff like that as well. They're quite a diverse diet, but they do eat honey, and well, you know, a long tongue like that can be quite handy. Same for insects. It's a tongue that can get in between cracks and stuff like that. So very interesting indeed. And actually here in the speed build you can see how the bear enjoys a little lounge in that hammock. It's really cool that you can see them use that. As you can see, it is quite a lush enclosure. I've added a lot of plants, but most of it is, as I said, temperate. And then I polish up the pathway and the kind of surrounding areas a bit, but the enclosure is for the most part finished. But I will do a quick walkthrough at the end of this episode as well. So I guess stick around for the end, and I'll see you then. Enjoy the rest of the speed build. Alright, so here we are at the bear trail. Last episode we looked at the sloth bears over there, and this episode we will be looking at the sun bears, which is a bit of a smaller enclosure, but it's quite nice, it's quite cozy. So it won't be a long walk through for this one, but this is the sun bear enclosure. You can basically view it all from this one angle. And they can climb all over these structures that I've built here, and even lie on the hammock and have a little lounge. For this enclosure I also built a signage kind of bit here with some fake information and a nice sign saying sun bear, so that's quite nice, I guess. But you cannot view the inside of the shelter, so they have some privacy, and it does seem like that they are all indoors right now, which is quite a shame. There are also some babies, so it would have been nice. Oh no, look at that, just when I mention it. So they are coming outside right now, so we can have a nice view of this sun bear, and he's coming to say hello, or she, I'm not sure of the gender, I don't know. Oh, and there are the babies as well, or at least one of the babies. Oh no, both of them. It's like they heard me, right? It's like they heard me. But yeah, the sun bear, the smallest bear species, very funny looking. It got blamed for being fake, even though it's definitely a real bear. And yeah, very smooth skin, hasn't it? Very smooth skin. As you can see, it may look like a small enclosure, but based on the size of these bears, it's definitely plentiful, and they have a nice big shelter indoors as well. And oh, are we going to see the bear use the scratching post? Nope, just walking past. That's alright. At least we saw them for a split second. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this speed build. I hope you like this bear trail idea, because there's still one more episode to come after this. And well, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.